So today's topic is black magic removal from house building and plots. Now this is again a very important topic, and many of you are facing this kind of a problem, that you've been emailing to the team that we have having some problems regarding our house, plots, lands, offices, and you really want to understand that how this can happen. First of all, is it true that it can happen? And if it is true, then what is this all about? Okay, so today I'll be disclosing and talking about more about this topic. And I would like to say by starting this that yes, this is a very common problem in today's time, when the availability of the lands are decreasing day by day because of the population increasing in our country, in all the major cities, especially the metropolitan cities I'll be talking about. Yes, it must be very shocking for many of you as viewers to say or hear or to listen that why I'm saying that the cities, because generally people have this conception that all these supernatural things or paranormal things or anything to do with supernatural events are taking place only in the villages or the rural areas. However, today I would like to clarify and give more light to all of you regarding this matter, that gone are those days when things were only happening in the villages or the rural areas. Now be very alert if you're staying in any of the metropolitan cities of India, especially overseas. I'm not even mentioning, because out there people already are aware of. We Indians think that it is some sort of a taboo, I would say, or it's not possible that people who are educated, they don't believe in this and blah blah. I've been always talking about this on the YouTube videos of mine, but you have to understand that foreigners in today's times are much more good learners and very systematic in understanding that these things exist. Okay, and especially in India, I'm not trying to spread any superstition. It's just that this is the fact and the truth, that in metropolitan cities, because of the scarcity of the land, the builders are buying lands for profit making things in their lives, and they're not caring about whether this was a graveyard here, whether there was some sort of a murder which happened in the land, or what is the status of the land. They are just not caring about that, and they make these high-rise buildings, okay, and you start living in those flats, of course, because today's times no one has this much of time to analyze and think like the previous times. People were very much keen on the Vastu Shastra and the correct directions and everything. But these days I mostly see that people, especially from the educated class, they find it to be very below their level, or below their class to even talk about certain things like Vastu and the directions and everything that is included in it. But then people who are aware of the importance of Vastu and the directions in our lives, whether it's a house, land, plot, which I call land detection, they are confident enough to say that yes, we are looking for a north facing plot or a northeast facing plot or an east facing plot, etc. regarding this. Okay, and they are the ones who are safe in today's time, who believe in the Vastu Shastra even today. Okay, and I'm not saying that there's no one who believes in today's time here. There are people, but the percentage is very less, as compared to what it was before, in the ancient times. That is what I'm trying to say. Paranormal activities are happening in the city life at a very high rate level. So many cases comes to us that we have recently shifted to a new house, and what's going on in the house is very strange. Suddenly the health problems have started, suddenly the financial problem has started, and sometimes even the court cases starts, and relationships are getting hampered. What is going on, we are unable to understand, and then their actually mind gets diverted to the fact that is it possible that it's some sort of a supernatural thing or some sort of a negative energy which is there in this house? And then they start, googling all these facts, that what is this all about? And of course then they come through articles, come across through articles and so many other documentaries in which it's actually shown that yes, your house, your plot can be previously from the starting be under some sort of maybe a curse or maybe some negative energy which needs to be cleansed from there. So if you're having headache, if you're having fever all of a sudden, if you're all of a sudden feeling that somebody is there in this house and I'm not alone, and strange things are the illusions are taking place in your mind, in the place where you're staying or recently shifted, or even in one of your ancient houses, okay, then don't be hesitant to go for a diagnose and get this clarified, that whether there is some supernatural entity out there or some negative energy which is living there or is controlling that particular piece of land or office or your house, your high-rise apartment, whatever it is. Because I have come across many cases in which many people have committed suicide from the high-rise buildings, from their flats, and no one is able to trace that what was the reason. No conclusion could come out. Okay, so these kind of cases of suicidal tendencies are also sometimes associated with, I'm saying also sometimes, I repeat, I don't mean that all the suicides which are taking place is only because of supernatural. No, I'm not trying to convey that at all. It is just that I'm saying that plenty of time it's quite possible, and it is seen that because of the negative energy you get operated in such a manner, your mind, that you can commit suicide, okay? And people have done that in the past as well. If you will go in the research work of the suicidal cases, of the suicides which have happened from the high rise, when something was wrong which was unknown and undiagnosed, then these things come out, okay? So if you're facing anything in like this in your house, office, or any of the premises, you can get the diagnosis done from us or anywhere else, but don't start calling up. I always say write a Gmail in the Gmail section, or just WhatsApp in the message saying that I want to get my diagnosis done, and the whole story and the whole detail needs to be in the Gmail account, okay? No phone calls, emails, because I always say that we are extremely busy. All the phone calls are not possible. We will not be able to attend people like this. So mails are there. Within 24 hours, you will definitely get a mail back saying that what needs to be done the next, okay, for the diagnosis. So that's about it for today's topic. I'll see you next week. Till then, goodbye.